Have it. Let's have it from the horse's mouth.
Mighty fine at the dime, boy. Always has been.
And it always will be. You know, Mitchell and I were talking in the first half, and of course one of the stories about Peppedine is that there was such continuity through the early successful years. 30 years, there were 3 coaches. Gary Colson, yourself, Tom Asbury, and then over the last 14 years, there have been 7 coaches. That's almost a prescription right there for some real troubles.
Continuity is a key thing in college athletics, and if you have the single most important ingredient in any athletic program is the head coach. And if you find the right guy, then you're going to have a successful program.
Well, speaking of that, tell us about Marty Wilson. You know,
well, I recruited Marty, and I'll tell you, he was a tough, hard-nosed basketball player, and his kids were going to play. They're going to play the way he played. They'll be an extension of his personality. They guard you really well. They do a great job defensively, and they play hard. And he just, how long is it going to take him to get the kind of players that he wants to play to compete in this league? And when you think of Gonzaga, St. Mary's, and BYU, he better go out and get some players, because that's the name of the game, is having really good players. And the real key is, have they ever done it before? Yes, Peppedine has. And so then it tells me it can be done again.
I'll tell you an interesting story. When I was at shoot-around today and I was talking to Coach Wilson, I asked him, how do you keep your young guys and some of even your sophomores and juniors really interested in the rest of this year, because wins have been hard to come by? He said, Paul, you know what I did? As Kevin Bailey scores again for Portland, I showed them some video. He said, and I think you're old enough that you were calling the game 20 years ago when what it was like here at Peppedine, when you were coaching, and it was standing room only, and you were winning conference championships. And he told his young players, and he's got some good young ones here, like Jordan Baker, that's what it can be like, and that's what we're working towards in the future.
They got some, it can be done here, and I think Marty will do a great job. I really do. I really believe that.
What was your recipe, Coach, for going into the inner city and nabbing guys like Dane Settle and Dwayne Poley, some superstar talent?
Well, I'd coached at Morningside High School, and I'd known a lot of the high school coaches around in the city, and we played in the Watch Summer Games. They used to call it LA Games. Now it's the Watch Summer Games. And so I got to know all those guys. And quite frankly, when Dwayne Poley was looking for a school, they called me and said, Coach, we got to help this young guy. And he's the MVP of the league twice, Mitchell.
That's big time.
Makes you a good coach. Makes you a good coach.
Yeah, what's the famous saying? Any coach is one good player away from the pedestal and one bad player away from being unemployed.
That's right.
Show me a good coach with bad players, I'll show you a guy gets his brains beat out every night.
Bailey down the lane, trying to lay that up and in. Offensive rebound taken by Portland, blocked from behind by Caleb Willis. Tied at 31. And Josh Lowry, nice delivery by Willis. Lowry lays it up and in.
Mitchell, you remember Eric Reveneau, the coach at Portland. He played at Stanford for Mike Montgomery when we were at UCLA. He's done a magnificent job there. They're not as good this year as they had been in the past, but
no, Coach, we were talking about it earlier. I mean, his team takes on his personality. They execute very well. Having played for Dr. Tom Davis and Mike Montgomery, you know that he's going to execute the offense and, milk the clock down and make sure that his guys get a good shot.
Vandermar's running into some trouble, and this is a tough possession and a turnover, and this has been Portland's problem.
Well, I tell you, Peppedine plays great defense. And when you're in a conference tournament, you got to keep your attitude up. You got to be excited, because Connecticut last year, they weren't in the tournament. They're 9-9 in league, and they come up and win 5 straight games, and then win 6 straight games, won 11 straight games, won national championship. It's never over. You're never out of it. It's kind of like golf. You're never out of the hole, boy. Keep playing.
Yeah,
keep
you play like I do. There's sometimes you just go over and pick it up.
Keep grinding, baby, because you never know. You're never out of it.
Baker with a three-pointer off the front of the iron, and good hustle by Taylor. Darby. Fresh clock and another possession for the way. Peppedine leading it 33-31. Inside to Darby. Left-handed hook, not there. More battle for the rebound, and Thomas Vandermar's 6'11" freshman out of the Netherlands with the rebound. Quick shot by Riley that time. And kick ahead to Lowry at the other end. Lays it up and in, count the basket and the foul.
Great finish on that play by Joshua Lowry. And again, an ill-advised shot by Tanner Riley to come down and get a quick look at a three. And it isn't the shot that Coach Reveno wants. He wants to milk the clock a little bit, but they get the ball on the rebound, kick it out to Lowry. Lowry goes up, finishes with the contact off the glass, an opportunity for the three-point play.
Lowry will look to complete the three-point play. That foul was on Ryan Nichols, who will head to the sideline. Three-point play completed. Pepperdine leads it 36-31, 16 minutes remaining. Mitchell Butler, very special guest. Jim Herrick, along with Paul Sunderland. All right, you had so many very good players, but everybody in my business gets to ask, your favorite player you ever coached? Mitchell, look at Mitchell Butler. He's hugging. Mitch, did I set you up for that or what?
Oh, yeah.
We will step aside, and there is the man himself, Jim Herrick, 10 years here at Pepperdine, 4 times to the NCAA tournament. What a job he did.
These obstacles are a challenge for any driver. But for the driver of a Lexus IS 250, the real challenge is doing it backwards. This is class-leading turning radius. This is precision you can feel. This is the Lexus IS. Lease the 2012 IS 250 for $349 a month for 36 months, with $39.99 due at signing. See your Lexus dealer.
What happened when Toyota, Ford, and Honda owners compared their vehicles to a Chevy Cruze Eco?
Yeah, 42 miles per gallon is fantastic.
Very surprised once I got in the car and pulled out how much power the engine had.
Wow, here we go up the hill.
I could probably own one of these pretty easily.
We dare you to compare your car to a Cruze Eco with its EPA estimated 42 mpg on the highway. Right now, very well qualified lessees can get an EPA estimated 36 mpg highway 2012 Chevy Cruze LS for around $159 a month. Visit your local Chevy dealer today.
There's no other place in the country where you can climb, bike, board, and surf all in the same day. That's why we put so much all in the same truck. Ram 1500. Guts, glory, Ram.
Lease the 2012 Ram 1500 Express Quad Cab 4x2 for $259 a month for current lessees of competitive vehicles.
West Coast Conference basketball is being brought to you by U.S. Bank. Savings today, rewards tomorrow.
Underway second half here in Malibu. Pepperdine leading 36-31. Doing a pretty good job. Portland led at 27-26 at the half. And Lowry Willis out of the backcourt along with Jordan Baker. Doing a pretty good job. And now the question is for Portland, where are they going to get some scoring? They got a basket from Kevin Bailey early on, but now the offensive drought is wearing purple.
Yeah, they've got to figure out a way to get the ball to Kevin Bailey a lot more in this second half. I mean, he's the one guy that's been consistent for them throughout this game, having a presence. His presence is felt athletically. His presence is felt in the half-court set with his jump shot. So you've got to find a way to get him the ball.
Portland now in a 2-3 zone. Good ball movement by Pepperdine. Lowry looking at three, not close off the front of the iron. Pass down inside on the turnover. A nice try by Baker, but still a turnover.
Yeah, that's just an immature move right there by Baker. You want to grab that when he's slapping his hands right now because he knows that's a possession that's valuable to his team and can't have an easy turnover like that with a second chance opportunity.
Kaysen on now as well as Douglas running at the point at number 11 outside the Kaysen. Nice stroke from three-point range. It looked good when it left his hand, but it almost broke the backboard, but it counts all the same.
I thought I heard him say bank there.
Come on, young man. You got to laugh about that one a little bit. And just like that, it's only 36-34. Zone causing Pepperdine some problems.
And this is probably the 5th defense that we've seen Portland get into against.
Willis misses that three. Good work down inside by Darby, and it pays off with another possession for Pepperdine.
Yeah, you're going to see Tim Douglas here take it into the teeth of the defense and kick it out the case, and he was surprised that he was that wide open and put a little extra oomph on it for the nice soft touch off the glass.
Pepperdine to inbounds, fresh clock. If you're just joining us, Gonzaga lost by a single point. They're ranked number 24 in the country at USF after BYU won by a single point. Up at USF, St. Mary's lost to Murray State. Pull-up jumper, Josh Lowry with some nice confidence and rhythm in the second half, Mitchell.
He's looking really good. I mean, he's getting the spots, elevating. His stroke looks very fluid. There's no tension in his release, and, you know, he's knocking down shots for them, and, you know, he's putting Pepperdine on his back right now.
Lowry leading scorer for Pepperdine now with 11. Douglas on the dribble penetration, and it's going to be a bumping foul called against Baker.
You were mentioning about the losses here that we saw with Gonzaga dropping a game here to San Francisco, and St. Mary's also losing a game to Murray State. I mean, this thing is not sewn up for any team. I mean, if you had looked at the conference 2 weeks ago, you probably would have said St. Mary's is going to run away with this thing, maybe with a little competition from Gonzaga, but it's wide open. So this game is important in terms of an 8-9 matchup to play into the conference tournament. So it's important that these teams come out, play really hard, and the winner is going to likely avoid that 8-9 game.
Kaysen again, a little better touch there, not off the backboard. Got a nice looking stroke, the young freshman.
Doesn't look
nearby
bad.
Fontana. No, I like him. Bodes very well for the future of Portland. Again, losing Jared Stahl, Luke Sikma, Kramer Knutson, along with Jason Hannibal. Nice score inside this time by Baker.
And Card definitely got away with a foul there. He grabbed Baker's arm very hard. Baker fought through the foul and was still able to finish. It should have been a three-point play opportunity.
Baker now in double figures for Pepperdine with 10. And Lowry working his way out of the backcourt off the turnover.
The defense for Pepperdine has been very solid.
Corbin Moore, the big man stepping outside. He opened the game with a three-point make. He's now 22 of 46 on the year, 47% from three-point range.
I mean, he shoots them like he knows he's going to make them, and just a nice fluid stroke, and he raised up shooting that one with all the confidence in the world.
Just like that, a 9-point lead, the biggest of the evening for Pepperdine. Three-pointer not there, battle for the rebound, and that's going to be ruled off of Moore, out of bounds. Head coach Marty Wilson, again in his first year for Pepperdine, talked about the positives out of this year. He said Corbin Moore has to be absolutely one of them. And he has been our most consistent player. 7 double-doubles. He's averaging almost 8 rebounds and 11 points per game. So having a very nice senior season.
Yeah, he's just done a fantastic job for this team. Second in the conference in rebounding. And you know when the ball goes up and off the glass that he's going to be there competing for the basketball. And that's a huge advantage for your team.
Mitrovic out of the corner, not there. Long rebound coming to Thomas Vandemars, just back on the floor. Ball comes loose, and Caleb Willis, very, very stoutly built out of Georgia. A little jump hook, travels and falls back in for Taylor Darby, and the lead now is 11.
They've got a great tempo going right now. They're really working hard on getting good shots at the basket, and they're not really trying to do too much with the basketball. It's real easy, simple basketball, and that's why they pushed this lead out to 11 early here in the second half.
And former Pepperdine and now Hall of Fame head coach, he said, hey, Pepperdine defends, and right now it's very hard for Portland to get a good shot.
I mean, they're doing a great job defending the basketball. Look at them. I mean, they're showing hard over the screens. They're keeping their man in front of them, and they're contesting at the rim.
Oh, in and out. That ball was 3/4 of the way down for Vandemars. Early post up for Darby. Willis, little shake, raise, spinning up and in. Boy, Portland has got to call a timeout.
Yeah, timeout should be coming here by Coach Eric Reveneau, but I think he's going to let his guys play through it a little bit. This could be, you know, these guys learning how to play in this hostile environment right now, but probably should call a timeout for his team.
Carr around the screen on the switch. Moore getting back inside to Vandemars, and that is going to be 2 free throws coming to Dorian Kaysen. When we come back, one of the keys to basketball, being able to change speeds. And Caleb Willis said, I'm stopped, and now I'm gone. Basket for Caleb Willis, 10:52 remaining. Pepperdine leading 47-34.
I'm telling you, I am the app master. I've got it all. I've got game apps, sports apps. You played baseball, right?
Troy, your order's ready.
How did you?
Wingstop app.
The all-new Wingstop app. Download it today.
Aaron, I was able to save you hundreds.
Yeah, discount, double check, I know. I'm kind of over that move.
So are we.
What?
It's a little, soft.
No, it isn't.
It is.
Yeah, it is. They wanted something with a little
Like what?
Do it with me. Ready? Discount, double check.
I like it.
It's terrifying.
Right?
Matthews.
What's up, dude?
He plays football professionally.
Hey, Rogers! Move! Matthews!
You could save big with a discount double check, only from State Farm.
All your life, you've been trading up. You went from buying off the rack to wearing something that actually fits. So, now that you're comfortable in your own skin, let's talk about your car.
Introducing the Lincoln Exchange sales event. Trade up to a Lincoln MKZ that fits your way of thinking. For a limited time, get a $1,000 exchange bonus on top of the year's most attractive lease offer. Only at your Lincoln dealer.
Bear Mountain and Snow Summit, Southern California's Learn to Ski and Ride headquarters. Want to learn? Take a lesson. Both resorts have top-notch instructors to speed up your learning experience. Southern California's Learn to headquarters.
Last 7 minutes, Pepperdine on an 18-3 run to carve out a 47-34 advantage over the visiting Pilots. And don't get left behind and get your WCC news fast. For the latest behind-the-scenes information on the West Coast Conference, it's 9 institutions and 13 sports. Visit the WCC's official YouTube channel, like WCC Sports on Facebook, and follow at WCC Sports on Twitter for more about social media and the WCC. Visit WCCSports.com, at Twitter, at Facebook, WCC all over the place. Kaysen at the free throw line. Pepperdine in the second half, 9 of 15 from the floor, and that has certainly given them, as you pointed out during the timeout, a lot more energy at the defensive end.
And more importantly than that, Paul, is that of those 9 baskets, 7 of them have been assisted baskets. So they're moving the ball around, they're sharing the basketball and getting the ball to the open player to make the play at the basket or for an open jump shot. So great execution job by Pepperdine Waves in this half. Marty Wilson's guys are playing the way that he wants to see them play.
And good adjustment by Eric Revenot. Immediately full court pressure as this game was getting away, and feeling that Pepperdine was so comfortable. Steal and score by Bailey, now with 14.
And again, you're going to see multiple defenses thrown at Pepperdine, and they're going to try to get them off their game, off their rhythm right now. And they're doing a good job at that.
There's going to be a hold away from the play called on Nicholas Scown. Nicholas Scown trying to cut through the lane. The foul was on Tanner Riley, just his first personal.
And you saw Kevin Bailey there with the activity with the hands, just an incredible athlete, you know, able to steal that ball from Scowen and return and put it down with 2 hands and cut the lead down to 10.
Still plenty of time to shoot. Lowry, who's been feeling it here in the second half, leads to the defense, has that ball rejected out of bounds. 12 seconds to shoot. Lowry to inbound. Manny Ochenji just on the floor once again, 34 in white for Pepperdine. Oh, nice look down inside, and Taylor Darby can't score it. Ochenji, a wild-looking shot, the rebound taken by Vandermars.
Marty Wilson was not happy with that play right there by Ochenji. He gets the offensive rebound. He's a little bit off balance, and he tries to put the ball up. Take the ball out, milk a little bit of the clock here. You got a 10-point lead, and let's get a good look at the basket. That's what Marty Wilson's telling his guys.
Not in exactly those words, but that was the message. Lead is still 10 for Pepperdine. Ball's on the floor. Scown dives all over that, and finally a held ball, the possession arrow, however, still with Portland, but the shot clock will not reset. Shot clock at 18. Eric Revenot not happy right now with his team, and with good reason. what's befallen them all season long. They're going through droughts because their possessions are not smooth. They're not in good rhythm. And so you give the ball to Bailey and let him get it done one-on-one. Gets knocked to the floor. No harm, no foul, a traveling violation. And turnovers, once again, really starting to hurt Portland.
Reveneau is very, very disappointed right now. He's yelling at the officials, just called a timeout. He thought Kevin Bailey was fouled on that drive to the basket and, being out of control a little bit there.
Back to Malibu after this short timeout. Peppedine leading 47-37.
So how do we feel?
Like we're finally ready for that trip to Spain. Eh, muchacho? Yeah.
Get in, get confident. Supercuts every time.
What's the best way to Santa Cruz, California?
Here are directions to Santa Cruz.
Where's the best barbecue in Kansas City?
Is there a rodeo in Amarillo today? Where are we?
Here's your current location.
How big is the Grand Canyon? Any gas stations we can walk to?
I found 2 gas stations fairly close to you.
What does Orion look like?
I found this for you.
Remind me to do this again.
Okay, I'll remind you.
Dad?
Yep.
Who's Honus Wagner?
No idea.
Let me see that. It's a Honus Wagner autograph. The Hall of Famer. Look at this ball.
Yeah, I found it at a yard sale. Thought Pickles would like it. That new car, Jerry?
Yeah.
Sweet, man.
The Audi A8, named Best Large Luxury Sedan. Experience the exceptional Audi A8 at your local dealer today.
So how do you feel?
Like it's time to let it ride.
Place your bets.
Get in, get confident. Supercuts every time.
Very nice second half so far with 9:34 remaining for Peppedine, leading by 10, and it is the final home game for 3 seniors playing for Peppedine. Richard Branning out of Northern California played sparingly throughout the course of the season, being honored, and Corbin Moore, nothing sparing about the contribution he has made over the last couple of years, averaging 10 points, 9 rebounds, made a couple of threes tonight, showing you all of that game. Here being honored, and also Taylor Darby. And Darby making his 109th career start. That is really, really an impressive number. 109th career start in a Peppedine uniform.
Yeah, it speaks volumes about his consistency as a player for the Waves. He's been on the all-academic team the last couple of years as well. So just really proud of that young man and everything that he's accomplished here in the Peppedine uniform.
But Moore and Darby, Moore now on the dribble drive. Good double team, kicks out to Baker. Still plenty of time to shoot. And there's the deflection and the turnover. Riley out of the backcourt and off to another Bailey, I should say. Kevin Bailey to Tanner Riley, and it'll be Tanner Riley, number 3 in purple, shooting a couple free throws, and he took a hard shot.
And you see on the ill-advised pass by Jordan Baker there, Kevin Bailey's going to kick it up to Tanner Riley, and Tanner Riley takes a nice shot on the left shoulder there and just instantly grabs the left shoulder.
Oh. Well, you never want to speculate about what might possibly the problem. He's trying to shake it off, but certainly got a little bit of a stinger there. Marty Wilson visiting with his fine young point guard, Jordan Baker, who just committed his 4th turnover. That free throw falls in.
And he's just giving a little too much sauce to the passes there. I mean, he's looking away, trying to thread the needle for the great no-look pass. Just, take your hands, 2-hand, bounce, pass it right in there, and make sure it meets its destination, its intended destination.
I never understood what was wrong with Isaiah Thomas or Mark Jackson or John Stockton. I mean, only 3 of the greatest of all time.
Right.
I mean, Irvin was Irvin, okay?
Exactly.
Irvin was 6'9", and some would argue the greatest player of all time. But last time I looked, the 2-hand chest pass was a pretty good technique.
It sure is.
And this press is causing Peppedine some problems. That foul, which way did that one go? We're still waiting for the signal. I think that went against Ryan Nichols. Yeah, they gave it against Ryan Nicholas, his third personal foul. So Pepperdine's going to have to deal with this press for the rest of this basketball game. Dorian Kaysen coming back on for Nicholas.
And the press is designed to get traps into the corners. So you want to keep the ball in the middle of the floor and attack from there. Anytime you get it over to the wings, they're going to attack immediately because it cuts off 3/4 of the court.
I'll tell you, it's taken Pepperdine right out of the very good offensive rhythm that they had. Remember the 18-3 run, Mitchell, to take that 11-point lead. And here is a near steal that time by Kevin Bailey. I'll tell you, you said he's going to be a Conference Player of the Year a couple of times before he's done. Of course, we'll revisit that and play the tape.
Oh, yeah.
But he is a very, very impressive young man.
Well, look at this young man. He's got a nice swag about him. He knows that he's very good. He's walking on the court, and he knows that, you know, hey, I've got a chance to have an impact on this game. You put the ball in my hands, good things will happen. You can see that in his body language out there.
And look where he's playing on the press. Right now he's guarding Lowry, but he's going to come off and double team and use that quickness and length. Should Portland get an opportunity? Still plenty of time to shoot for Pepperdine. Willis picked up his dribble. Lowry head fake out to Moore, looking for his third three-pointer, not close. Willis offensive rebound, has that block. Jordan Baker with a loose ball, and he'll get to the free throw line.
I think the Wave really, they need to take their time when they get the offensive rebound, especially the little guys in there. They're going up and they're going in amongst the trees. They're getting their shots blocked. Fortunate enough in this opportunity that Baker gets it and gets a foul and gets to the foul line for 2.
First personal foul on freshman David Carr out of Portland. And Baker looking to add to his total, and good on the free throw now, has 11. Stay up to date on all the latest news, stats, exclusive video, and player profiles by visiting Pepperdine University's official athletic website at pepperdinesports.com. Outstanding sports programs here. University of Oklahoma was here today playing baseball. Women's volleyball program went to the regional finals. And, of course, doing very well in tennis and your new sport, golf. I'm just learning.
Love it. Well, they've always been very good at volleyball. You know, you got the beach right here, and get the chance to get down there and play a little beach volleyball, which is going to be a new sport for the NCAA coming up here. So,
yeah, Marv Dunphy, the legendary coach, led the United States to an Olympic gold medal in 1988, has won several national championships here at Pepperdine. Lead back up to 10. A couple of big free throws. I know there's a lifetime left, but just those seemed like big free throws because Pepperdine was really out of sync offensively. Kaysen taking the ball back inside. Haynes gets the contact, score the basket, and look to complete the three-point play. Nice move down inside by Dorian Kaysen. We'll step aside, and number 22 in purple, thanks to this strong move, shooting a free throw when we come back.
The Clippers have rebooted. With the addition of new players to the grid, the game is changing. Blake Griffin and Chris Paul are taking the Clip Show to new heights. Now, with the system upgrade complete, it's time to rise and take it to the next level. Get in the game all season long on Prime Ticket HD, the exclusive home of Clippers basketball.
Torrance is the home of corporate Toyota. Toyota is the world's greenest brand. That is why DCH Toyota of Torrance is building a new facility on PCH using all eco-friendly materials. Get a great deal now on additional new and pre-owned vehicles during construction of our environmentally friendly showroom. Visit torrancetoyota.com to see today's specials. DCH, delivering customer happiness.
Yellow Book has always been good for business, but these days, you need more than the book. You need website development, one-on-one marketing advice, search engine marketing, and direct mail. Yellow Book's got all that. Yellow Book 360's got a whole spectrum of tools. Tools that are going to spark some real connections. Visit yellowbook360.com and go beyond yellow.
In spite of some extended trapping pressure by the Portland Pilots, Peppedine still holding on to a 49-41 lead. And want to remind you, the West Coast Conference is now in its third year sponsoring the conference-wide Represent campaign. Each year, student athletes, coaches, administrators, and fans of the WCC commit to representing themselves both on and off the court by fostering good sportsmanship that positively represents the conference, their schools, their teams, and themselves. For more information about the WCC Represent campaign, visit the Represent page at WCCSports.com. Paul Sunderland back with Mitchell Butler. Three-point play completed by Dorian Kaysen, and more full court pressure.
And the Wave are going to, Pepperdine's going to have to figure this zone press out, because Portland's going to do this the rest of the game here. They've got to increase the tempo here and not let Pepperdine get into their half-court set. So in order for Portland to get back into the game, you're going to see them pick up their defensive intensity, try to play the gaps in the passing lanes to create turnover opportunities for themselves and easy baskets. And for Pepperdine, they've got to handle the press. Handle the press, get into your offensive sets, get good looks, get into the teeth of the defense, and distribute the ball to your scores.
Personal foul was called on that play by Portland against John Bailey, his second personal foul, both teams with 5 team fouls. Down inside to Darby, lays it up the late whistle, and it's going to be a couple of free throws. Well, Darby goes to the free throw line. You mentioned Pepperdine breaking Portland's trap. How do you go about doing that most effectively?
Well, the most important thing is you got to work the ball around the perimeters, which is what they did right there. You know, they came down, they worked the ball to the left side of the court, brought it back around to the right side of the court. Darby dived really hard to the right side block, gets it, makes a strong move to the basket, gets fouled, consequently 2 free throws.
Darby, a pretty good-looking free throw stroke. On the year, only a 60%er, and he's gotten to the line a lot so far on the evening, with that 4 of 7 from the free throw line. Now a total of 10, and make it 11 points for Darby. 7:20 remaining, and the lead is back up to 9.
This may come down to being a free throw shooting contest for Pepperdine if they can step to the line and knock down shots, because Portland's going to be very aggressive with their defense.
Good ball movement, blocked from behind, hard foul. That's going to be called on Taylor Darby. And Bailey, number 5 in purple, will be going to the free throw line for Portland.
Yeah, easy call right here on the penetration and dish. Anytime you can get your defender up in the air, you've got an opportunity to get the and one. He didn't get the and one. He goes to the line for 2.
Bailey, 6'8", 210-pound redshirt freshman out of Mesa, Arizona. First team All-State his final year over in Arizona. 72% free throw shooter, and a pretty good example why. Nice looking stroke. That's his first point of the ball game. And that off the front of the iron, and Corbin Moore with a block out and the rebound.
And in that situation there, when you miss that second free throw, you don't get an opportunity to get into your full court press. So, you know, missed opportunity there for Portland.
Good little slip screen, good ball movement, and Taylor Darby throwing it down.
Good things always happen when you can get the ball to the middle of the court, inside the paint. There are guys cutting, there are open guys on the perimeter. Great execution by Pepperdine on that particular possession.
Down inside once again. What an offensive rebound by Bailey off the miss by Rogers.
I tell you what, if you're a Portland Pilots fan, you've got to be very excited about this young man. He's just jaw-dropping with some of the things that he can do out on the court. He should certainly be one of those types of guys for this conference that'll be fun to watch and all-time great in this conference.
Lowry down the lane, not there. Tip not there. Tip back up and in. Back-to-back baskets by Darby.
They're hitting the glass. They're doing all the things you need to do at this junction of the game to sustain their lead and kind of take the air out of the basketball for Portland. Portland's looking for a way to get back in it, and Pepperdine saying, no way, we've got this one.
And a couple of points you made, Mitchell, about good ball movement, be it against the full court pressure or in the half court set. Slip screen and then just good unselfish play.
That's just textbook basketball right there. You can't draw it up any better. You know, and here, you know, anytime you can you know, get Kevin Bailey coming in and flying in and regathering himself in the air for the putback. That's just, that's big-time basketball, but not enough right now from Kevin Bailey.
I'll tell you, this is a situation where Nemanja Mitrovic, in the awful year he is having right now for Portland, he's a senior out here and one of the captains, and he has made 37 out of 127 three-point shots last year, 45% from outside the arc. And right now, Portland just has no threat whatsoever from long range.
There's nothing there. And again, your heart goes out to Mitrovic because he's such a phenomenal shooter, but for some reason, he is just not on his rhythm. The last 2 years, he was in the top 5 nationally, three-point shooting percentage, and it's just not happening for him.
Bailey again. Kevin Bailey is just relentless. Evidenced by that putback and that one-on-one move. The freshman now leading all scorers with 18.
Just a special player. And I mean, he's been coming up big for them night in and night out over these last couple of weeks in WCC play, and someone that, you know, again, they can build this team around.
Lots of contact there. Again, the whistle a little bit late, but absolutely the right call. What's getting Lowry open? He's getting that look from Moore slipping the screen, but Lowry's able to get into traffic.
Again, he's catching just enough of them, and then once he sees the lane open there, Lowry's got a great first dribble, and he gets in there, and when he gets in, the smart thing that he's doing is he's looking and he's seeing the defense come over, and he's getting his body into the defense to create the contact so that he can go to the line for 2 free throws.
And not cashing in on the first. That was the third personal foul on Thomas Vandemars from Portland. There is Marty Wilson again, the blue bow ties, drawing attention to the program for the Black Coaches Association and their administrators. It's called On the Line to raise awareness for prostate cancer, and it's in conjunction with Black History Month. In traffic down inside, Nicholas getting bailed out, and we'll get to the free throw line. Brian Nicholas been pretty quiet as well. He averages 11.2 points, 8 rebounds, and so far on the evening, as we look at the box score, Nicholas with only 3 points.
Well, I mean, again, we've been talking about Kevin Bailey. He's starting to take over this team. Earlier in the year, Ryan Nicholas was the guy that they really leaned on heavily. He had the most experience of the guys coming back, along with Mitrovic. And when Mitrovic got off to the slow start and Douglas got off to the slow start, Nicholas was the guy they pounded the ball inside to, and he was very good at converting baskets inside. Kevin Bailey's come on lately, and it's taken a little bit of that away. They've got to find a way to fuse those two guys together because they are the future.
And speaking of Derek Rogers, who started much of the year at the point, he's back in, number 15 in purple. And here's the full court pressure once again into Caleb Willis, who just picked up his 4th personal foul. Both teams over the limit, 17 fouls. Moore being very patient. Got to look out for that 5-second call. 8 to shoot. Willis down along the baseline. Luckily goes to Jordan Baker. Rattles in and out the 3. Put back up. No. Rebound again. Moore throws it up and in. What a lucky break for Peppedine. And Corbin Moore with a wonderful second effort. But Caleb Willis, out of time, out of real estate, threw a pass that had no business finding a teammate.
I tell you, this entire possession for Peppedine was one in which, you didn't know what was going to happen here. And Moore gets it down low, gets his rebound, and he's falling down. He just throws it up and throws it in. And big play by them right now because Portland was making their run and their push, and this is a big play here. Mark this down at 4:43. This could be a very important play for Peppedine in terms of if they win or if they lose this game.
3 waves in double figures. Baker with 12, Lowry with 12, Taylor Darby leading the way with 15, and Corbin Moore just chipped in with his 9th to go along with 7 rebounds. And as mentioned, the outstanding freshman Kevin Bailey leading the way for Portland with 18. Riley has 9. Vandemars very quiet with 2. Rogers with 2, and Nicholas also very quiet with 5. And at the point now, David Carr. First team All-State last year out of Portland. They really like him at the point. Smart, makes good decisions, got a good look there. Offensive rebound, lost out of bounds, but ruled off of Peppedine. 4:29 remaining. The Waves lead is 9.
Great hands by Jordan Baker there. You know, when the bigs get it and they bring it down into the guard territory, those guys are taught to dig back in there and get those hands swiping at the ball, and he was able to do that. Unfortunately, the ball went off his knee.
Still plenty of time remaining, but I guess Portland's got to be in a little bit of a hurry and just no three-point threats. Nice move again by Kaysen, floating, getting the contact, and then having a nice soft touch off the glass.
Good pump fake and drive there, and it gives Portland a chance to get in there, extended defense, pressure up, try to slow the game down a little bit for Peppedine, not let them get a good transition look.
Kaysen now in double figures with 10. Two fine freshmen, Kaysen and Kevin Bailey. Moore, willing three-point shooter, that one off the side of the iron. And a good block out. Taylor Darby's going to pick up the foul. And it'll be 1 plus the penalty when we come back to Pepperdine. You're watching WCC Conference Basketball. 3:45 remaining. Pepperdine leading by 7.
Pepperdine University in Malibu, California is a private Christian institution committed to academic excellence and spiritual growth. Pepperdine's 5 schools welcome more than 8,000 students, celebrating religious and cultural diversity, small class sizes, opportunities to study abroad in Europe, Asia, and South America, and a rich athletic tradition. Pepperdine University, strengthening lives for purpose, service, and leadership.
On game day,
we wear different uniforms.
we represent different colors,
We come from different backgrounds,
different states.
different cities. Some have hit aces,
Some have hit wedges.
Some have hit threes.
We are different.
but we are the same.
Competition unites us all.
We are not blinded by winning and losing.
The honor of the game must always be upheld.
We represent our conference,
Our school, our team,
ourselves.
the West Coast Conference.
Today, more than ever, the world needs heroes. People with not just the smarts to succeed, but the heart to know what that really means. Welcome to the University of Portland, Oregon's Catholic University, where it's not merely a question of how much will I take home, but what will I give back? Rise. University of Portland.
Pepperdine still clinging to that 7-point lead, 3:45 remaining, but if Kevin Bailey has anything to do with the last 3+ minutes, Portland's got a pretty good shot.
I mean, he's just been sensational tonight. Outside, inside, in transition. You know, he's doing it all for them. It's just not enough. He's got to give them a little bit more. I think if they're going to have an opportunity to win this game, he's going to have his imprints all over it. He's the best player out here, the best player on the floor by far, what we've seen tonight, and he's got to take this game over if he wants the Portland Pilots to not be in a position to have to play for that 8-9 play-in game for the WCC Conference.
Bailey now with 18 points, 8 of 12 shooting, 1 of 2 from three-point range, and previously made his only free throw as Ryan Nicholas knocks down that free throw now with half a dozen. You look up, it's 58-52. Portland was 10, 11 points down. It looked like Pepperdine, that one rattles down. So now it's 58-53. So 2-possession game with lots of time left. And that's a 5-second call. Wow.
Seemed a little bit quick to me, but again, you've got to have a conscious clock going on in your mind. When you've got the ball in that situation, run the baseline because you can run the baseline. You don't have to stay on one side. And, you know, a tough turnover right now at this junction in the game for Pepperdine.
Step back, contested three-pointer. Tanner Riley thought that he was clipped on the arm, but no foul. Oh, that's a travel. That's a really smart defensive play by Dorian Kaysen.
Yeah, he came up and he caught Jordan Baker looking back from the pass that he just received, and was a little bit out of control. They have to slow it down, make sure that they're getting what they want, Pepperdine here. They can't afford these turnovers right now at this point in the game because Portland will make you pay.
David Carr had a pretty good look at it. Baker saves the ball onto the floor. Another look from Carr on the floater, and it dribbles home. And just like that, it's 58-55, a one-possession game. It's about 4 minutes of playing time ago. Excuse me, Mitchell. Pepperdine led by 11.
It's a perfect time right now for Coach Wilson to get his guys regroup. Timeouts probably in order. If you see them not get a good shot here, you're definitely going to see a timeout now.
Tanner Riley with the steal. Brings it back out. Nicholas drives inside. That's a couple of bad shots. And here's Jordan Baker running with Taylor Darby at the other end. Oh, that's a hard foul. You know, and in both the NBA and in college basketball now, with the flagrant foul, the flagrant one, and the intentional foul, a lot of effort has been made to protect. But you know, you're going after the ball. That's a good, hard physical play. Kevin Bailey just picked up his second personal foul, and hard foul for Taylor Darby, again making his 109th career start, his final home game here at Firestone Fieldhouse, trying to add to his total of 15. All of these are big.
At this point in the game, you step into the free throw line, you just want to be as relaxed and as calm as possible. Look the ball into the basket just like he did there.
And Darby, historically, not a good free throw shooter, just 60% on the year. Darby now with 12 points in the second half for the Waves and 17 as a total. 2:40 left, 5-point lead for Pepperdine. Pepperdine now showing a 2-3 zone. Dangerous, the ball tipped away, and a very costly turnover for Portland. Same high screen and roll. Outside now to Baker. Down the lane. Step back. 17-footer. No. Good block out that time by Nicholas, but it's going to be ruled off of Nicholas. And it'll be a fresh clock for Pepperdine.
Looked like a foul on Nicholas there, too. He got away with one. Corbin Moore had great rebounding position, and he went up and he just grabbed his arm. Smart play also, because if they weren't going to call it, he prevented them from getting an easy putback basket.
Pepperdine certainly wants to be patient, but they want to at least get to the free throw line. They got to have a good look by the right person. Lowry down the lane, flips it up, not there, and that's going to be another personal foul on 0-0 Kevin Bailey as he picks up his third.
And you talked about it earlier, that little high screen and roll there between Moore and Lowry has been working really well for Pepperdine. It's creating a lane that's really good for Lowry to get into, and he's been explosive with that first dribble, getting there, and like we said, looking for the contact, getting to the free throw line for 2 looks.
First free throw is good for number 10 in white, Josh Lowry, also out of Phoenix, Arizona. And you look at him, 6'3", 200 pounds. He is very, very strong. He spent some time in the weight room. That helps him take the contact, bounce off, and get to the free throw line.
Yeah, he's got a great body, and he uses it very well when he gets into the teeth of the defense. You know, smart player, too. Knows how to create the contact to get fouls.
Pepperdine in the 2-3 zone, and no real three-point threats on the floor now for Portland.
And that's what hurts with not having Mitrovic shooting the ball like he was shooting over the last couple of years. You don't have that guy that can get you that three-point look.
Right. Bailey down inside. No, Nicholas with the offensive rebound, and that's not a good foul that time by Pepperdine. Ryan Nicholas struggling with his offensive game, but keeping the possession alive, getting fouled, and now it'll be 1 plus the penalty. Josh Lowry is called for that personal foul. It's his 4th personal. Both teams now with 9 team fouls, 1:24 remaining, and Pepperdine with a 7-point lead. And timeout is taken by Portland. And the Stanford grad, Eric Reveneau, in his 6th season, coming off of back-to-back 20-win campaigns, is going to talk over this last one, 24. Well, we have a break. We want to remind you that all session passes to the 2012 Zappos.com West Coast Conference men's and women's basketball championships are officially sold out. Single game tickets will be on sale at 10 o'clock each morning of the tournament at the Orleans Arena. For more information on how to purchase day of game tickets in Las Vegas, please visit WCCsports.com. If you had to pick a team to win the tournament right now, who would it be?
Well, I'd say right now I'd probably go with Gonzaga to win the tournament. They've got the experience. They've been there, Few and his staff, really solid. They know what they have to do to get it done. St. Mary's, you know, they're a little banged up right now. They're trying to figure out what it is they need to do. A tough loss by Gonzaga today, but again, I think that they're the one team that's been there, done that. And when you look at the conference, it's set up for them, St. Mary's, to be in a position to fight off for this championship. But I think it's going to be Gonzaga.
And don't forget about Loyola Marymount. Went up to St. Mary's and beat the Gales handily on their home floor. And you mentioned St. Mary's. Steve Holt out with a very serious ankle injury, and Matt Dellavedova. He did play against Murray State today, but was obviously a little bit hampered, injured a knee in that game against Loyola Marymount. And speaking of LMU, they beat Valparaiso in their bracket buster game. A couple of big free throws. Of course, they're all big right now for Portland. Got to have both of these free throws. And off the front of the iron. It's too early to foul if you're Portland.
Too early right now. 7-point game here. Maybe want to try to get you another possession and then look to start to use the clock on your behalf.
Lowry looking at a three-pointer, rims in and out. Caleb Willis offensive rebound. And that should just about do it. Inside of 1 minute.
That was the nail in the coffin right there, Paul. I don't think that Portland will be able to rebound from that one. That putback was important.
Nicholas misses at point-blank range. He has struggled all night long. Bodies flying everywhere. And a timeout taken by Caleb Willis with some help from Corbin Moore. You think these aren't two teams that are desperate for a win?
They certainly understand what they're playing for here. And, you know, it's been a knockdown, drag-out fight here. You know, Caleb Willis come in with a big offensive rebound, put back in. There's no quitting Peppedine. They understand what they're playing for, an opportunity to avoid that play-in game in the conference tournament, which adds another day to your schedule. And you just want to, you know, you want to get an opportunity here to not have to do that. I mean, this hustle play has been grabbed, hit, banged up, kicked, everything on the floor.
Caleb Willis got, I think Portland was trying to take the foul.
Oh, yes. He got mugged on that.
Yeah, the timeout. Pepperdine, talk about wanting a win. Their last win was back on January 28th against Santa Clara. Since that time, they have lost 5 in a row. And earlier in the first half, our Zappos.com play of the game, Caleb Willis once again. He is all over the place.
They can put a little extra English on this play here. I mean, he gets in and he gets under the arms of Thomas Vandemars, and nice spin off the glass for the easy two.
And for the Portland Pilots, their last win as well was over Santa Clara on February 2nd. So they have lost 3 in a row, including a heartbreaker on Thursday night, 78-75 in overtime. Came from 17 back and ended up losing to the Toreros. We talked about the future of each of these teams, and boy, Kevin Bailey, along with Vandemars, Dorian Kaysen, and for Pepperdine, you talked about some of their fine recruits, and also going to build things around Jordan Baker, Josh Lowry coming back, Hector Harold. Caleb Willis has another year, Ramon Eaton, but they're losing Taylor Darby and Corbin Moore. But waiting in the wings is 7 foot, and I emphasize now 315-pound Jan Malin. And this young man, I watched him, there's Jan Malin, and he is a very talented, astute basketball player. Has had a couple of injuries. He redshirted this year. But I was watching him today, and he has got great feet. He has got great hands. And everybody, including and most importantly, Jan Malin, says he's going to come back next year at about 290 pounds. And that's where he was last year when he played. So he is going to give Pepperdine a big, big body in this conference, and he's a nice player.
Coach Wilson has been beaming about that young man. So to have a 7-footer at that size in this conference, you know, that can only add an extra 5 or 6 more wins to your team next year.
And everybody you talk to, they say when Jan travels with a team, he's so careful about what he eats. He does the extra running. He's on the bike. So he's doing all the right things. And he had a very, very serious, nice score inside by Riley in a quick timeout. But just to finish up on Jan Malin, he had a very serious groin pull, so he was unable to do any running for the longest period of time. So his weight is just up a little bit. But when he says he's going to drop it, he means business. It's going to be fun to see him play next year.
Oh, he's dedicated. We were talking about before the game him coming out and doing some defensive slides, passing the ball back and forth. So he's committed to getting the weight off, and you know it's going to be interesting to see him next season with this team.
Out of Tucson, Arizona, and well, we have a break in the action. Don't get left behind and get your WCC news as fast as you can for the latest behind-the-scenes information on the WCC. It's 9 institutions, 13 sports. Visit WCC's official YouTube channel, like in quotes WCC Sports on Facebook, and follow the WCC at WCC Sports on Twitter for more information about social media. Mitchell Butler will fill you in on all of that stuff. He's got his BlackBerry, he's got his iPhone, he's got his iPad, and they're all tuned in.
I've got to keep up with all the information there. I mean, it's a lot, but it's good stuff.
Baker ahead of the pack, and quickly Kevin Bailey applying the foul. 31.8 seconds remaining, and now Pepperdine will be in the double bonus. As far as Jordan Baker is concerned, 12 points, 4 of 11 shooting, made a couple of threes on 5 attempts. But you don't like the 5 turnovers. A couple of them were just careless turnovers, but a freshman at the point guard, every game a learning situation. And that's why it was so impressive, quite frankly, for both of these teams. Portland, very energetic, very focused practice yesterday, as was Pepperdine at their shoot-around earlier today. And between them, both of these teams come into this game with only 14 wins. A real credit to the coaches and the players.
Well, I thought both teams played really hard and really well. They both put out a really strong, hard effort. It's Payson right there, knocks down the 3. But again, you know, only one team could win tonight.
Nice play by Corbin Moore, kicking ahead to Baker for the basket. Baker now with 15. And we're inside of 20 seconds. Riley, the floater, no. Kaysen has had a nice game for Portland. Mitrovic is on. Riley out of the deep corner, and he bangs that one down. Tanner Riley with a 3. You know, some three-point makes. Those three-point shots are just a little easier to come by and a little easier to make when the game's not on the line, as evidenced by, you know, Kaysen showed a nice touch. He's got a couple of three-pointers, 6.2 seconds remaining. Mitchell enjoyed it. First game we've ever had a chance to work together. I'm sold. I did your games when you were playing, both at UCLA and in the NBA.
My all-time favorite, Paul. You were the best.
Oh, that's just because I'm sitting here.
That's right. Just kidding.
Hey, don't forget I get the last word.
You sure do.
There's somebody in the truck just said, close Paul's mind. And a good decision to let David Carr go, and Pepperdine just needs to inbound, and the officials aren't going to call that foul. So a good win for Pepperdine. They trailed 27-26 at the half. A very solid start. Remember that 18-3 run for Marty Wilson's team. And Pepperdine notches their 9th win